What's going on, everybody? I'm back again with another South Florida Regional Top 8 deck profile, but this one, I think out of all of them, is the most spiciest one because you know our boy Luffy got God mode. So our turtle Hunter went God mode today. What'd you do today, bro?
We top 8'd the regional playing the Plunder Patrol deck.
One piece that deck?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Alright, so quick shout outs for the world, you let them know.
I gotta say, shout out to all the PPF homies, Willie and everything. I got home at 3 in the morning from a drive from California, so I kind of like decided to just play this deck, have fun, and then we ended up topping. So.
Oh yeah, you did do that long, bro. You're wild. But also a shout out to Willie because this man been ducking and dodging me doing deck profiles. But yeah, so let's get into the spice.
Alright, so you gotta play all the Plunder cards. You gotta play out as many of the names as you can. This just happens to be the best one. For a quick rundown, if you don't know what they do, if it's sent from board or hand to the graveyard, summon one from deck, but it locks you into Plunders. It also has a second effect where it just basically tags out for an extra deck monster, depending on what attribute your opponent has. So if they have a fire, summon a fire, light, etc., etc. This is the next best one. But this one requires setup, so it's not as good as this one. Target any Plunder card in your graveyard, add it back, summon itself, and then if it's sent to the graveyard, summon one from your spell and trap zone. Usually you're using this as like at a turn 2 level play to come back and recur your entire board. This is the 1-card starter of the deck. So basically this gets you into your Link 2, which gets the entire deck rolling. And once per turn, discard a card, summon it back, or you can reveal in your hand, discard a Plunder name, summon itself. Second effect doesn't restrict you, first one does. Very big. Next one, you play 2 of each of the bad ones. One, because you need a float into this one. This is the best one to float off this one, and this one just draws a card. But it's also a free summon, so you can just make cards or whatever, because sometimes you just need the extender. This one has the same tag out effect as this guy, but the difference is that this re-equips itself to any ship if it's sent from hand or field. It's not as good, but you still have to play it as a name. And this one, it's when it's in the graveyard, discard 1, draw 1. But it's nowhere near as good. Most people cut it to 1, I see why, but I just feel like you needed 2 just to see it more. You just need the names. For the non-engine cards, you have to play Triple Girl, writes your FTK card, so you have to see it. 1 Griffin Rider, and 1 Illegal Knight. This new addition to the deck actually makes it so insane because you give your opponent a dark monster, which actually is just like one of the most unbelievable things. Like, it just makes a lot of the more unplayable matchups more playable just because it gives them certain colors that they don't already have. So like, say against Plunderies, now you can actually make something because you give them a dark monster to play with. So you can just take away all the M-Pens, and it's really hard for a Plunderies player to beat over like a lot of interruptions, like every single turn of the game, which the deck really excels. For other packages, you play 2 Souls, 2 Illusion. This is really good because you can send all of the Plunder monsters while they're equipped, and so it's just basically extra free advantage. You can also send Right and Draco back. You can send the Field Spell. You can just get a lot of value for free, and it's also a free summon extender, which sometimes you just need in the deck, and it just gives so much free value and draw cards for no reason. So it can also fix the super dead hands you have with like drawing Draco back or Fateful Adventure. For hand traps, I played 3 of this one, 3 of this one, 2 of this one. I decided to play as many Effect Veiler ones as I could because I feel like those are probably the best in the format. It never really came up on my turn for this one, but the burn definitely would come up, as I would definitely say, as like sometimes it just finishes people. So it just really helps a lot. It also becomes like if you go into time, if the bar request becomes no material because the card just can't even leave. So it's actually just really insane. It gives the deck more of a time win combo. So you have 3 right, 1 fate, 1 this. Fateful Adventure is a second effect to protect equipped monsters. Actually comes up a lot in this deck because it just makes it so that your equipped Plunder Patrol strips, they can't be destroyed by battle once. So it's actually a very big deal because a lot of the time, like they're very small when you're not rolling. So most people just think, oh, I'll just beat over it, but you can't because of this, and you just win for no reason. A lot of the games just become cheese. It also becomes a free discard, which is good for Whitebeard a lot of the time too. It just nets monsters. It just does whatever it needs to. 3 ship, finally came hollow, deserves it. You can do a lot of really cheeky things with this card. So, like, say you have the Fusion monster, you can activate the effect to target like whatever one's equipped to it. So, say like, I don't know, a random like Redbeard. Activate effect, target, and then you can chain effect to summon the monster. It'll cell set the card because the first thing to happen is the setting, and then it bounces. So it's a very big deal. So it's just a small little interactions with the deck that like really make it key. So next we have Droplet. Droplet is actually just crazy in this deck because all of your cards inherently go +1, but they don't really mean anything. Another really cute thing you can do is, like the field spell, the captains themselves actually have like little niche interactions like that too. So say you activate the effect and then you chain like Droplet or something, sending the card for cost, you'll still summon your ship, and then you'll gain the second effect when it's sent from field to graveyard as well. So it just gives you a lot of free advantage. So for example, this one will re-equip itself to make it a quick effect, or if it's Whitebeard, you'll be able to get an extra summon from deck of a white, say the red. So it's just a lot of free cards. 2 Mystic Mine, never activated, never played it, never saw it, doesn't matter. But it's there just in case, because you're playing a blind second deck, so you kind of have to play it. 1 Call by the Grave, 1 Foolish, 1 Terra. This one has versatile utility because you can send Water Enchantress or Golden Hair to get you into your engine. This gets you either Mystic Mine or the Field Spell. Field Spell is amazing in Grave, so it's good to discard it. Call by the Grave, just an interruption. Main deck Evenly, because you're playing blind second, and Evenly is like pretty okay this format into most of the decks. The only one you can argue against it is Sword Soul. Not even. It's actually really good against Sword Soul. The Despia deck, maybe, because they can kind of play around it, just like summon the Predaplant. The negates, like, puts a Predator counter on it and negates it or whatever, and they summon back Mirror Jade. But that means you beat Brandon Red and just beat the removal, so it's really good. Triple Impermanence, you have to play a maximum amount of hand traps that you can, otherwise, like, you're just kind of losing because you don't have good, like, interruptions for your opponent. Final card is Booty. You need to play this card because I only play it at 1 because I feel like any more than that is just bad. But you just need to play it for those matchups that don't have enough colors. For example, like the Fluandere's matchup or like the Despia matchup. It also just inherently is just reborn to keep your advantage going. And just once per turn, summoning back a monster, non-targeting is just crazy. For the extra deck, it's pretty standard, to say the truth. Like, you have Triple Fusion, Triple Ship, triple this one, triple this one. So basically, quick rundown: Divine Wrath, Karma Cut, Cosmic Cyclone. And then on resolution, they all respectively add the opposite of whatever they do. So this one's Cosmic Cyclone, it'll add a monster. This one's Karma Cut, it'll add a spell or trap. This one negates anything, and then it'll add. But it can only add if it has an equip spell under it. But if they don't have an equip spell, that means they can't action. So it's like the Nightmares. Very important, very important. Next, you have the most important extra deck monster is the Captain. So he has the same thing like I explained earlier. If like you activate effect and then chain Droplet, sending him for cost, you'll still summon the ship. It's just you won't draw the card. That's the only thing. That's the only different scenario that'll come up. Like I had it one time where I activated this, my opponent chained Zeus. I still summoned my monster, but I just didn't draw the card, so it allowed me to make the list and then negate the second Zeus. Very big, very big. The rest of the spots are really just flex spots. So I played El Mirage for the 1 card combo of like summoning Golden Hair, sacking it off to make Blackbeard. 1 Phoenix, 1 Unicorn. These are really just flex spots of whatever you want to do with them. They can technically be Celine, Hulk, and Access Code. But I felt like I needed an out to Psychic and Punisher, and just Boral Sword fills that spot the best. You can argue that you can just technically smash your face into it with Morik because Morik has a protection effect. But the problem is with that is that you can't. There's times where you're just too low on life points and advantage because at that point, if they're sitting on Psychic and Punisher, it doesn't really matter because the game should just be over at that point. You can't recur enough advantage fast enough to just get to that point where you can just wholeheartedly just beat your face into that card because of just the hard removal the card gives. It's just too hard to beat. So you might as well just play Boral Sword and just with like Boral Sword and just keep trying to beat the cards and just hope and dream it works. That's it for the extra deck. It's 15. There's 53 cards in the deck, and then for the side deck, it's actually like Pretty okay. It's not bad. Triple Phantasme. Came up a few times actually because just in a lot of matchups. Like, it's only good in some matchups, but in the matchups it's good in, it's crazy. So, like, I played against a Tri-Brigade player. I drew 4 cards off of, like, 1 resolution. I played against a Striker player. It was good in that matchup too because it's just, you know, he gets targeting. Just an overall good card all around. Triple Twin, need back removal. Because the deck, inherently, the only back removal is the Causing Cyclone, but it doesn't deal with Floodgates very easily, so you need just something else. Triple Regeki. It's more or less for Sorcerer and Flunderies, just more hate that you can have. Just board wipes is really good for the deck because you just get the cards off the board and you start generating advantage. 2 Storm and a Duster. They fill the same role, it's just except for this is a little more limited in what you can do because a lot of people inherently put their cards in defense mode, and I just wanted to have the extra card for backer just in case. And then finally, the only going first card in my side deck is actually Triple Rivalry because while yes, it conflicts with the right engine. All of the plunders inherently, like, they gain advantage really fast, especially if your opponent can't play. So the matchups you're siding them in against is really just like the Despia deck, Sky, anything that really inherits them from not playing the game. Those are the matchups that you really want because it's more, those matchups are more like resource based, and those are just the matchups that you need rival in. And so that's really just the deck. It's 53, 15, 15. I had a really good time overall playing this deck. It's really just the nice little interactions that you need to play this deck. And bring it to a big event, and that's what matters a lot. That's really it.
Well, Hunter, congrats as always. It was wonderful watching you play this deck because you've been playing this deck for so long, and you're always playing in a very unique way. And I figured this is like one of your pet decks. You're always gonna put it out if you can.
If I can play the deck, it'll be there.
Well, congrats, and hopefully see you more and more Top Cuts.
Thank you.